Hi, and welcome to the SaVeg Podcast.
I'm Rose, also known as Cheap Lazy Vegan on YouTube.
And I'm Daniel, one of your favorite guest stars on Cheap Lazy Vegan's YouTube channel.
We're two friends who love to talk about the latest trending topics.
So get comfortable and join us while we give our SaVeg take on just about everything.
You are currently listening to the previous episode of this podcast, but if you would like to listen to this week's episode and get some exclusive content, go over to patreon.com/thesavagepodcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the SaVeg Podcast.
Hey, guys. We are back.
We are back for our weekly episode. How are we doing? Daniel, how are you doing?
Oh, gosh. Well, let me tell you. I don't know about you, but this today's episode and what we're talking about is just, again, making me question faith in humanity in general.
Oh, I totally forgot what we were talking about just until now.
Until I've just, I don't know. How are you feeling? What's going on with you,
Oh my God.
Roses?
Well, I don't even know what's... Okay, guys. Well, obviously, we're going to talk about what the hell happened in the United States of America.
God damn. We're going to talk about... Okay, let's do a little
Okay, so we're going to talk about that. Mm-hmm. And our feelings on that.
Oh, God.
And we're also going to talk about the story of... What did they call it? They call her the
Karen.
Soho Karen.
I love how this whole Karen thing has come
Karen
about.
Thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
although I do feel bad for people named Karen, and I do think it's a little sexist. Let's be honest.
True. Actually, that's
Don't
a very
you
good
think?
That's a good point, Rose. That is a good point.
It is a bit sexist. Why is it only women, that get this name?
It could be also maybe it's a Karen and a Ken or something.
They did have a few Kevins. Okay.
Oh yeah.
But rarely do guys get named that. Kevin did not pick up. It didn't become a thing. Okay.
No.
But Karen became a huge thing right away.
Yeah, true.
So
Karen
a
became
sexist,
a trending.
But you know what? Whatever. I'm not gonna.
We'll delve into that in a little bit later, guys.
Yeah. So Soho Karen. Was there another story, Daniel?
It's it's a story, but it's about Kanye and Kim, a little bit of drama there.
Celebrity gossip.
Yeah. So that's going to be on there.
Because we got to make things, a little lighthearted sometimes.
Yeah, we want to, exactly. Because all this news is depressing the fuck out of me.
Yeah,
I don't know about you.
One man's divorce is another man's gossip stories.
Well, and for single people, one person's divorce, another person's treasure.
It's round 2, Daniel. Round 2.
Exactly. Round 2 for all the people.
You want to get with Kanye West? Apparently, he might swing the other direction.
Definitely. That's a hard negative.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And then also, guys, we have a pretty big announcement as well today.
Oh, shit. Are we going to talk about that?
We sure are. So, guys, we thought... we wanted to be a little bit more inclusive of everyone. We wanted to kind of open up our Patreon a little bit. So we've added another tier to all of so if you guys don't know, our Patreon had a couple tiers. One that was $5, one that was $10. And now we have a new tier called... What did I call it again? I don't remember now.
Basically, it's a new lower tier. It's $3.
Yeah.
So in order to join our Patreon, now you can join for only $3 a month, guys. Yeah. And what did you say it was, Daniel? The equivalent of?
It's like the price of a coffee, guys. For a price of a coffee, you guys get some exclusive content. You get one bonus episode every single month. Also, you get to interact with us. You can suggest topics, all sorts of things, and join our little community over there, which is really exciting. And also, I saw on the Patreon website that actually, because before it was only in US dollars, but actually they've opened it up. So for people that are in Canada that wanted to maybe be a Patreon before, but didn't want it to be charged in US dollars, you can do that in Canadian dollars now as well. So
interesting.
Yeah, pretty exciting stuff, guys. So yeah, if you want to check out our Patreon, go on over to patreon.com/thesavagepodcast, and you will also have access to all of our previous exclusive episodes. So there's about I think there's 13 on there now or 14.
Yeah, there's quite a few, and there's some juicy ones.
There's some really, really good ones. So
what are some of our favorites, Daniel?
I always like the juicy dating stories. Those ones are always really, really good.
Stories. You guys don't want to miss that.
No, definitely not. There's a couple. Another one of my favorites is interviewing Rose on her life as a YouTuber. That one's kind of cool.
You mean a YouTube sensation?
That's right. That's right. Speaking of which, another thing, guys, that I wanted to talk to you about is Rose's YouTube channel was actually nominated for best vegan YouTube channel. So I'm going to leave the link in the show notes and you guys should head on over there. I think it's page 5. I went through, there's a bunch of stuff you can vote for, but I kind of skipped all of it and went to the YouTubers and I voted for Rose's channel and as should you.
Oh, so sweet. Yeah. It was the Veg News Awards or something.
Yeah.
And so it's all about like the best vegan products, the best vegan whatever. And yeah, apparently my YouTube channel was nominated. Cheap Lazy Vegan was nominated for best vegan YouTube channel. I am honored.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I've already cast my vote. Cool. I did that as soon as I saw it in your story, Rose. I was like, get on over there. You're my
number one fan that never watches my videos, but at least you vote for me.
You see, I'm slowly trying to get my way back into the fan club. Rose has kicked me out for not watching any of her videos. So now I'm just slowly trying to get my way back in there, you know?
Yes. This is a good start, Daniel. This is a good start.
Good start to 2021, you know?
Yes. Anyway, guys, so check out our Patreon. Once again, you get bonus episodes every month that only patrons get, and you get all of our episodes ad-free. So if you like watching us on YouTube, you can get all of our episodes ad-free and all our episodes a week in advance. So you get it a lot more in a timely fashion than everyone else. So check it out, guys. Only $3 a month. $3 will buy you not even a coffee at Starbucks, I imagine.
That's true. Well, so, it would get you a black coffee. You need to go to Tim
Hortons.
Yeah,
you got to go to Tim Hortons coffee. Okay, it gets you a Tim Hortons coffee. Anyways, but even if you're not joining us on Patreon, of course, we still have our free episodes out for everybody else. So yeah, fun stuff. Exciting
fun times and lots of, you know what, guys, I'm actually really excited to see, to bring you guys more exciting news and content in 2021 and see what this year brings. I mean, it's already off to a fantastic start with these stories. God damn.
All right, let's talk about it now. Okay, God. The Capitol situation.
Okay. This is just
Daniel. Okay. Let's talk about some of the, what are some of the facts? Do you have any facts in front of you, Daniel?
I have a couple.
So how many people were injured? How many people died? It's a pretty serious situation.
I know. Well, I don't think too many people died.
I think 5 people died.
Oh, I saw one woman died after being shot during the mayhem.
Oh my God.
The FBI said they disarmed 2 suspected explosive devices. It took about 3 hours to get everyone cleared out of there. What else did it say? I'll just read you some of this. It says hundreds. Sure. So here we go. I'll read you some of this article. It's just, you guys, this is just insane. Okay.
It's insane.
We already kind of commented during this whole election about how, Trump's antics were already causing such a stir in the media, just really negative about how, he was already claiming early on about election fraud and all of this. This just takes it to the next level. This is just crazy. And this is someone that was the president or still kind of
is the president technically.
It's shocking. It's shocking. So here's the story, guys. So hundreds of supporters of President Donald Trump stormed the U.S. Capitol on Wednesday in a bid to overturn his election defeat, occupying the symbol of American democracy and forcing Congress to temporarily postpone a session to certify President-elect Joe Biden's victory. So I guess what had happened, if I understand correctly, is Trump, on the day that they were doing this kind of ceremonial kind of certification of the votes, Trump had organized a little ways away, a Trump rally basically. And I don't know, did you see any of the footage of the rally, Rose?
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw his speech a little bit, not all of it, but he was basically saying things that, it's not surprising that after, of course he wasn't full on saying we need to go and storm the building. Yeah. But he was saying a lot of things to basically excite his audience 100%. And to get them fired up. So he is at least partially responsible for this, if not mostly responsible. Actually, mostly responsible because he's the one that's been saying all this stuff about fraud for the longest time.
Exactly. Well, and it's the way I felt like he did it again in a very politician way, in a sense, where he didn't directly tell people, obviously, to storm the White House, but he got them fired up. So he used lines like saying, oh, we're going to march peacefully, but also we're not going to stand for, defeat. We're not going to let this gross violation of whatever, you know what I mean? Like he used his words very carefully, in a sense that he didn't say directly that they were going to storm the White House, but he also really fired people up, like really I wish I could remember exactly the words he said, but like honestly, it was crazy. You guys should watch the video and make up your own minds on it, but like the way that he was like carefully choosing his words, and like he was like, it's just like I just can't believe this happened. You know what I mean? I was in shock. Like when the news came out, I was just like, holy shit.
I know.
Like it's just crazy.
Like,
so
if we thought 2020 was crazy, and then of course this has to happen. And like, I just can't even believe how many people are still like believing that this is fraud. Like there's literally zero evidence. And it's just like, what are you basing this on?
Exactly. And the ironic thing is about this whole situation, and we like mentioned this before when we've talked about Trump extensively on this podcast. He's one of our favorite topics, apparently. It just keeps getting in the news. But we did talk about him before, and like it's ironic because he like claims that there's voter fraud only in the overall, but he claims specifically in states that he lost. So it's like, oh, there's no voter fraud in the states that he won, but yet the states that he lost, they're magically missing ballots, and they're magically, those ones have frauds, not the states that he won, just the ones that he lost. Like it's honestly, and the thing that's crazy is like, this is somebody that was like a representative of that country. You know what I mean? Like that's their, like, and he's literally, the worst part about it too is like, the more people he gets like riled up and everything, the more that he, and the more that he keeps talking about this like fraud and stuff, he's like very blatantly like undermining democracy, Yeah,
like, 100%.
Like,
it's actually shocking. It's shocking how many people, like, it's shocking how much he is so, he is lying about this whole thing. Like, I don't believe that he actually believes this. Like, I genuinely just cannot for the life. I think he just can't admit that he lost. I think that's what it is. I really don't think that he's, dumb enough to actually think that this was fraudulent.
Yeah.
But the fact that like so many people believe this lie is just like, it's crazy to me. It's like, this is how like, cults are born. This is how people become like, cult members and stuff, because they just blindly believe whoever the cult leader is. And then they just do dumb shit to put their own lives in danger.
It's insane. So there was like some other stuff that they said here in this article. So Trump supporters broke windows and police had to deploy tear gas inside the building. It was the most damaging attack on the iconic building since the British Army burned it in 1814. So since 1814, 1814, guys, nothing this damaging of an attack has happened until now.
And and then the good point that a lot of people brought up is that during the BLM protests, it's like the whole thing that everyone was saying on the right, like the people that were on the right, like Trump supporters, basically, they were like, oh, we don't like rioting. We don't like looting. We don't like people, damaging property. Like if you want to protest, you can protest, peacefully. And they were going on and on about that. And then even Trump said some kind of like his quote, he said something like, as soon as the rioting begins, the shooting begins, or something like that. He basically threatened that, people would, they will retaliate, like the police will retaliate back or whatever. And then with this situation, it's like, and people said, if these were black people, like the outcome would have been catastrophic compared to what it has been. It's because it's a bunch of white people that did it. It's like, oh, okay. It's just crazy. It's
I know.
And at least with BLM, there was a point, like there was some kind of, something that they stood for. Whereas this thing, you are just blindly following a lunatic and you just want him to be a dictator, apparently.
I know.
What?
It just shocks me so much because I'm just like, what is going on in the US right now? Like we have talked, and again, I feel like 2020 was already a shocking year for me, like in terms of like what was going on. And I thought, oh, you know, and I did feel like it's funny. It was like almost like a calm before the storm, you know, like the beginning of January, I was like, oh, feeling quite good. There wasn't actually, I felt like there wasn't as much stuff like going on. And then all of a sudden, boom.
For like 3 days.
Yeah. This. And it's like, oh my God, like it's actually crazy. Like
I know.
There's one thing for Trump to be like, you know, really vocal and be saying already he's making himself look stupid, being like, this is a fraud, like blah, 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 blah. But it's another thing to like organize a rally and like really carefully use your words to get people fired up, to get people to march and actually cause like a riot. Like this is just insane.
I know. Like there has to be some sort of like what I find crazy. I think we talked about this before in another podcast. But what I find crazy is that these people, these politicians, are, you know, apparently allowed to say whatever the fuck they want, and even if it's a complete blatant lie, like him going on and on about, you know, how it's a fraudulent election, and like. I get that there's free speech, but at the same time, like, should it be allowed to spread so much misinformation? Like, this is crazy.
Really, it is really, really tough.
The president saying it too. It's like,
I know.
It's not even just some Joe Schmo, you know, it is the president of the United States.
Someone with huge influential
Exactly.
power. Yeah. It's it's crazy. Here's one of the lines that he said. Cause you know, he'd say, you know, we're going to march, we're going to go peacefully. But then he'd say stuff like this, our country has had enough and we will not take it anymore. Like really kind of like, and that's not even the worst of it. Like there were so many other like lines and stuff. And
you're right. He was careful enough just so that he wouldn't get like, I don't think he'll get prosecuted necessarily because he was careful enough with his language that it wasn't a direct threat of violence. So it wasn't like, let's go. Yeah. It was like, he used it in such a like, you know, twisted way.
Yeah. Cause he's smart. He knows what he's doing. This is
apparently he's smart. Fucking hell.
Yeah, because he's like, again, carefully uses his words. You're right, because if he would have blatantly said, let's storm the White House and, you know, try to delay what's going on with the verification of the election or whatever, he would have gotten in big trouble. And I still think there should be some form of like repercussions or something because he did organize this massive kind of protest. I don't know. It's hard to say because there is that like, I don't know.
No, I do think there should be some sort of repercussion because like you can't say this kind of shit and have no repercussions. Like you did kind of start this whole thing. So obviously you should be punished in some form or another. Why can't I talk today? Oh my God. But anyways, I've had a very long day.
Apparently.
So yes. So Trump, another fantastic example of how fucked up he is as a human.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just shocked. I'm just shocked that it got to this point, to this level. And I just feel like, and we kind of like not knew that we didn't know this was going to happen, but like it just the way that he was being, I guess, like a sore loser or just couldn't accept what was going on. I'm surprised, but also not surprised. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm surprised, but I'm not shocked or something like that.
Which is bad. Like, again, this is the president of the United States. Like, what the actual...
I know. I wonder what's going to happen.
Yeah. Can someone please just like pinch me right now and just like wake me up from what's going on? Like, this is...
God.
Insanity.
Just when you thought it couldn't get worse with him as a president.
Oh my God. I know. I mean, how much
I wonder
longer?
what's going to happen now. Like, what's happening now? Are there still people there? Like, what's going on?
No. I think that they've
cleared it out.
They've cleared it out. It disbanded. It sounded like they did it on the same day. Like,
right.
Where does it? They cleared. It took about 3 hours or something to kind of get everyone out of the building, get everyone away, and I think people kind of just went home. I guess after that, it was funny. Not funny, but like some of the pictures that surfaced. Actually, some of the footage that surfaced as well was really scary. Like people, like this huge mob of people outside, just like break past security and just start running into the building. And like if I would have been working there, I would have been terrified. And then also like some of the people, like some of the, like, I know we shouldn't like necessarily joke about this, but there was like memes that came out that was like, this is because of like the get-ups that people were wearing. So some people were wearing like these ridiculous outfits, like honestly ridiculous ones. So some people were like, see, this is what happens when you cancel Burning Man Festival. Because everyone was like dressed in those kind of like, you know, weird, like, I don't know, kind of hippie-ish outfits and all this stuff. I question in my mind, what kind of person, maybe this is the wrong way to say this, but like, who are these people that are part of this rally as well? Like,
I think they're bored of their lives.
Yeah, I do think there's some element
and they
of
get
that. They're
sucked into. Yeah, the thing is, they might not have a lot going on for themselves, maybe, and they're looking for something or someone to, idolize and look up to.
You know who this reminds me of, Rose?
Who?
My favorite group of people that believe that the Earth is flat. The flat earthers. If you guys haven't seen that.
But at least flat earthers are not violent. So I'm okay. No. You know what? You guys believe in the fucking flat Earth. Okay.
Exactly. No.
Yeah.
That was a wrong comparison, guys. I don't want to be too negative.
No. Obviously you're joking, but
that's a joke.
No, I mean, it's a similar kind of concept, I think. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, it's like I mentioned with BLM, again, there was a clear kind of, reason why people were very upset. Like, obviously people didn't want, this systemic racism to continue. But then with this, it's like, what exactly do you want? You just want the orange guy in power. Like, that's literally all it is. Like, I bet you if you talk to any of those people, barely any of them could name one thing that Donald Trump wants to do in terms of a policy or change. Yeah,
that would have been a really good thing. Not good thing. It would have been interesting for somebody to interview maybe, but there probably is online somewhere. But interview some of those people that were storming. It was the White House. Yeah. But was it the White? I don't remember the.
It was the Capitol Hill.
Yeah, Capitol Hill. Sorry.
Whatever that. I don't even really know much about. Anyway, continue.
I don't know exactly what the buildings are all called. So yeah, just Capitol Hill. It was Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
But it would be you make a really good point. What are these people fired up about? What is the big issue here? And if you would ask them, what are some policies that Donald Trump has done during his reign as president that has positively impacted you, and what about his platform and his policy that he was planning to continue in his next if he was reelected that really resonated with you, and this is why you are at this rally. And you're right, I guarantee 90% of the people there, maybe even 100%, I could go so far as to say, wouldn't have an answer to that. So
they'll be like, we're gonna make America great again.
Yeah, and how are you gonna do that? How
we gonna build a wall, keep the Mexicans out.
I know.
They're all rapists. Isn't that what Trump said one time?
Oh, he said so much stuff over the.
We gonna build a wall, make sure nobody get in.
Oh God damn.
They take our jobs.
I think a lot of the people that were there, and again, I'm assuming things, but I think a lot of them, one, they're kind of looking for a sense of belonging, to have a community of people that all kind of believe the same thing. Also, I think a lot of them could be kind of disgruntled with their own situations.
Yes.
And I think a lot of this, and I saw this, I wish I could remember this video or article that I read recently that was talking about this kind of concept of how people get misguided around, for example, if they're, especially people in poverty or lower income, they get frustrated with their situation. And instead of looking at more of the systemic and what's going on, they focus on a different target. You know what I mean? So
yes.
a lot of the time they were saying about how the American dream, the whole concept of the American dream is if you work hard enough and you're dedicated enough, you can be successful. So by being poor and admitting that you're poor, you're in turn saying that you
didn't work hard enough.
Exactly. So you never want to admit that about yourself. You want to point the blame somewhere else instead of looking at the system that as to why so many people are in poverty. You know what I mean? So there was more to it.
I think you're kind of talking about the movie Capital, because I recently watched it. I think that's kind of where because it was a similar message to what you just said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I haven't
think
seen
you're
that
right.
movie, but yeah, it's similar.
You told me to watch it. Capital.
Oh yes. No. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. No.
I was what do you mean you haven't seen it? You told me to watch it. That's
I'm
where
also
you got
tired,
it from.
guys.
The documentary, it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
And they mentioned something which I think is true, when people are in kind of a desperate situation, or if they're not really happy with their current life situation. Instead of looking at maybe whatever issues the real issue, they'll grasp onto some sort of like identity, or that's why people become very like nationalistic and become very, you know, just anti-immigrant because they want to blame the immigrants.
Well, this is exactly, Rose, this is exactly, we mentioned about Brexit, the vote in Brexit, and like the two biggest pillars of Brexit was to fund the NHS with the money and to control immigration. And both of those things really, really appeal to people that are, you know, in the lower income categories, because they're the ones that are really heavily relying on the NHS, for example, and also the ones that are thinking like, you know, instead of looking at the reason as to why maybe they're in poverty, they look at, oh, well, it's the immigrants that took our jobs, you know? So again, that kind of misguided view.
It's sad, really. It is misguided.
Yeah, misguided, yeah. Whereas I think, again, it's like that whole idea of the red herring, where it's like you're focusing on the wrong thing, where the issues are actually stemming from somewhere else.
Yep. So, and they think of Donald Trump as some sort of, you know, obviously he has some level of charisma that, you know, that maybe other politicians don't have, to the point where he's literally like a cult leader type of person. Yeah. So that's what's dangerous, you know? Exactly.
That was, I think I saw like a video, someone was commenting on YouTube as well about this whole thing that was going on. And they were like, the thing that's actually really scary about all of this is the amount of support that Donald Trump has had throughout this and throughout, you know, having these people storm the Capitol Hill. But then also it just kind of reinforces for everyone else that we need to stay on top of things. You know what I mean? In a sense that like, you know, a lot of people like, you know, they kind of think, oh, what's the point of voting? What's the point of doing this stuff? Like, who cares, right? But I think this is really kind of a wake up call for all of us as well, to say, actually, we need to keep our fingers on the pulse, because, you know, that's how, you know, people like Hitler, I'm not comparing exactly Donald Trump to Hitler, but like, you know, people like that are able to get in power because, you know, they are able to kind of get this kind of, with their charisma, drive the people, you know what I mean? So I think it's a really scary thing.
Oh God. Yeah. Do you think there's gonna be a civil war?
I hope not. But at this point, I don't even know what could happen. You know what I mean?
Did you watch the video clip of this one went viral? It was Elizabeth from, oh my God, where was she from? She was in the Capitol, and then she was like, she was holding this towel, and she was like looking distressed. And this guy was filming her and was like, hey, like, what's going on? And she's like, I got maced. Did you not watch this?
Oh, I know. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, no, you watched the TikTok video of the little boy that was lip syncing.
Yeah.
She's like, I got maced. Yeah. And then they were like, what happened? She's like, I was trying to get into the Capitol, and then they maced me. And then everyone's like, well, maybe you shouldn't have been doing that. Anyway. And then she was holding this. The thing is, I don't know if this is true, but like she was holding a towel, and she kept like wiping her face with it. But then in the towel, like she was holding, it looked like an onion.
I heard about it. Yeah.
So a lot of people are saying, again, not sure if it's true, but a lot of people are saying she was just rubbing an onion in her face so she could like pretend that she was maced. Oh my God. And then at the very end, the guy's like, well, why are you trying to do this? Like, why are you trying to, you know? And she's like, we're storming the Capitol. It's a revolution. Everyone's like, can you stop?
Yeah.
This is not a revolution. Okay. Exactly. You are just a brainwashed cult member.
Exactly. And a revolution, again, like you said, based on what? What is it? What is it that Donald Trump stands for that is like you're so important for this revolution this so-called revolution? Like, oh my God.
Anyways.
And you know, I think that's a really good interlude into our next fantastic story. That
are we going to talk about the Karen?
Oh God, we are going to get into the Soho Karen.
Did you hear about this before I sent you the story?
I had not heard about it.
Did you watch the interview?
Yes.
Oh my God. Did you not want to shoot yourself in the face?
Okay, it was just painful on so many levels.
So let me give you a little context. So Soho Karen, as she is now infamously called, I think she was 21 or 22.
22.
Was she? Okay, so 22-year-old girl, and she was in New York, and I guess she was in a hotel. Yeah. And she somehow realized that she didn't have her phone with her. And what would you do, Daniel, if you realize all of a sudden you're in the middle of New York City and you're like, oh shit, I can't find my phone? Do you A, try to look for it, talk to the hotel concierge, you know, try to retrace your steps? Or B, do you find the nearest black man and accuse him?
because this is basically what she did, guys. I mean,
Oh my God, it's crazy.
Yeah, like, I mean, honestly, and I'll just answer you quite honestly, like, obviously in that situation, there's a few things I would do, and none of them would be to look around the room for the nearest person of color, tackle them to the floor.
Color, black man.
Black man. Tackle him to the floor and demand him to give me my phone. I mean, I just wouldn't do that. So,
that's basically what Soho Karen decided to do. So she lost her phone and she, instead of doing, what normal people would do, she decided that 100% it must have been this black kid. I think the kid was like underage as well. I think he was like 15 or 16.
14, I think.
Okay, yeah. He was underage. He was with his dad and they were just, minding their own business, doing nothing to like, there was nothing. There's the thing, like, I get it if there was some sort of, reason to potentially think that they took it. Like maybe she was sitting in a cafe and then they walked by and her phone was gone. Like obviously in that circumstance, it's different. But they were just minding their own business, doing their own thing.
Exactly, doing their own thing. And he was 14 and he was on his own cell phone. But I guess his phone looked kind of like hers.
It was an iPhone. Literally everyone has an iPhone.
Exactly. Everyone has an iPhone. And I don't know about, like, most 14-year-olds are freaking playing on their iPhone, right? So, and I'm just being completely honest here. If I was stealing somebody's phone, and I think this would go on the behalf of most thieves out there. If you steal someone's phone, you're not going to get it out and play on it in front of them. Yeah. You'd be the worst thief in the world to do that, honestly. Like,
so anyway, she had a meltdown moment and she basically accused the boy of stealing her phone. And she was so sure about it. She was like, you have my phone. I'm not gonna let you leave without my phone. And then I guess, like, again, I don't know the exact details. Like, did you watch the video clip?
Yeah, so basically, she was accusing him. She's like, give me back my phone, give me back my phone. He's like, leave me alone. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, what's going on? Basically. And then he tries to like walk out of this hotel because they were like going to leave. And she like runs towards him, physically tackles him. God. To the point where basically she's like grabbing him and like trying to get him to the floor and all this stuff. So his dad like comes over and has to like take her off of him, like physically remove her off of his son. Right? Yeah. Like, it was crazy. It was actually like crazy. And then it turns out that she had just left her phone in an Uber and then it got returned to her via the Uber. So that's basically that just kind of sets the scene up for you guys. Like, honestly, Google it. I mean, YouTube it or do whatever because it's
guys,
it's
that's not the worst of it. So that happened. So you'd think that's the worst of it.
That set the scene.
And then this very smart lady decided that she wanted to, set the record straight, have a little public appearance, do a little PR move and, maybe apologize for what she did. And instead she made things about 1,000,000 times worse. So she decided to go on the Gayle King show. Like, I guess she has a show.
Well, Rose, actually, there was something a little bit before that. Right? No, I can't remember if it was before the show or after the show, but, I guess what had happened was she was pulled over for something because she was never fully charged for the assault yet, right? They were pressing charges and she was pulled over for something. And I guess she was like recognized or something happened and the police were like going to arrest her for the assault. So she refused to get out of the car, locked herself in the car to the point where the police had to physically remove her from the car to do this arrest or whatever, right? So that's another thing that happened. So then go ahead. So she has the Gayle King.
Yeah, I think Gayle King is her name. So I don't know what the show is called. Maybe it's called the Gayle King show. But anyway, so Gayle King decided to interview this 22-year-old. So this girl, I don't know her name, Karen, Soho Karen. She decided that she's going to go on the show with her lawyer sitting beside her and do this interview. And I would think, especially after my whole crazy rage situation, I would be embarrassed as fuck. Yeah. Okay. So the most I would do in that situation, not that I would be in that situation, but the most I would do is just full on apologize and just say, you know what, I had a shitty lapse in judgment or whatever the fuck. Okay.
Exactly.
Just apologize.
Exactly.
But instead what she did was she first of all decided to wear a hat, and on the hat, what did it say, Daniel?
It said daddy.
I can't. Honestly, I guess, and then apparently the lawyer tried to like kind of talk to her out.
She coached her.
Okay, first of all, the lawyer needs to be fired because honestly, if that's her being coached.
I think the lawyer, because in the interview that these people were doing, a lot of people that were commenting on it, they said, okay, look, in the beginning, a lot of the stuff that she was saying would have been coached to her by the lawyer.
Right.
I think what had happened though is she went off the rails as this girl, which we'll talk about in a minute.
There was a moment where the lawyer was like, "You need to stop."
Yeah. So I think that so in the beginning, the way that this girl set the scene is she tried to, and this is what so many people do, like in these kind of circumstances, is they try to almost make themselves seem like the victim.
Yes.
So she was like, so she set the scene. She was like, look, I'm a 20, she refers to herself as a 22-year-old girl instead of a 22-year-old woman, you know, like
of course.
Seeming younger. I'm a 22-year-old girl. I was by myself. I was alone in New York City to visit my family, and my phone was my only way to connect to them. So of course you're going to be riled up and blah, 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 blah. Like, so she kind of set the scene to try to make herself, you know, seem like, and she's like, you know, really, I'm such a sweet, innocent person. You know, you shouldn't let this one thing shouldn't define me. And it's like, if you're such a sweet,
yeah, no way.
Yeah.
Somebody said this because I was watching a few clips about this, and somebody said, you know what, like, it's in these moments that really kind of shows you who you are as a person when you have like a difficult moment. Of course, 100%. You can be a sweet person when you're having a good day, but how you act in that kind of situation, and that's an extreme situation. Like no normal person that is actually a nice person, I don't think would ever do that.
No, 100%. The thing
is, the most that you would do, I think the most that you would do, first of all, she was obviously racially profiling. But let's say she, you know what, whatever. Maybe it was implicit bias or whatever it's called. So let's say she did that. Even in that situation, she could have handled it differently. She could have been like, hey, sorry, I misplaced my phone. I don't know if, you know what I mean? Like, she just handled it in like the worst possible way. And then on top of that, she was already racially profiling.
Exactly. But you could just tell, not only from obviously that event that happened, because that isn't a normal response, you know, like even if you're in a stressful situation, unless you're an absolute dick, or that I like to think of her as more like a very, very entitled, because like,
oh my God, so entitled.
Yeah. Even the way she was, conducting herself in the interview, like she just felt like she was acting like above it all, basically above everyone. 100%. Like she just didn't really give a fuck. Right. And that she showed it when she attacked that boy. And then she showed it again when the police had to drag her out of the car because she locked herself in and refused to get out. That's a spoiled brat to me. That is not somebody that's a sweet, innocent person. That is someone that's obnoxious. That is someone that needs to be disciplined. That is someone that, you know, is very entitled, is very, acts above it all. Because I don't even think, to be honest, Rose, and I know I'm like jumping to conclusions a little bit, but I don't think this person, even on a good day, is a nice person to be around, you know? Yeah. I could see her being the kind of person that would yell at someone at Starbucks for slightly messing up their order, or, you know, like that's the kind of person that this girl is, just the way she conducts herself. And
God, who are her parents? Like,
it's just
how
so
did
bad.
You raise your daughter like this? Like, honestly, it is embarrassing. And their parents are probably like, guaranteed her parents are probably like, she's in the right. Of course, you know what? She made a stupid mistake. It's fine. Everyone's just attacking her. I'm like, you have no self-awareness.
Exactly. Like, but this is the thing. It's so bad is that I don't know. Well, part of me thinks that she also, because she's so oblivious to reality, I think that she in part believes that she was kind of a victim. Like even
she believes it 100%.
Yeah, even when she said in the way she was wording it too, she's like, you know, I do apologize if I was making him feel some sort of way, basically, you know, like you weren't making him feel some sort of way. You literally attacked a person. And then she also said, what was the other thing that she said when she was like, I didn't want to make him feel like he was assaulted. And she was like,
I'm like, we're not talking about feelings. You assaulted him. She was like, I'm sorry if he felt bad. And I'm sorry if I hurt his feelings. Yeah. And I'm sorry if he felt that he was assaulted. And then everyone's like, you did assault him? Like you
literally, but this is the thing that's so crazy is in her mind, she did nothing wrong. Or maybe
she was trained that way by the lawyer.
True. It could have been that the lawyer was like, you need to
admit it.
Yeah, exactly. But like at the end of the day, it's like, no matter what, like and I just speak from my own experience because I've been in some pretty shitty situations as well. Like really bad stuff has happened. First of all, I've never ever behaved like that. And secondly, like I couldn't even imagine like, no matter how angry I get or how like riled up I get about something, which would take a lot, but like that aside, physically putting your hands on another person. Like,
It's crazy.
it's just,
I know.
it's just, and this isn't even the worst part, right? Like of the interview. The interview gets so
was
much
like
worse.
almost golden. Like I almost like loved it because it was just so bad. So anyway,
even the way she talked.
Oh my gosh, she was so like, and the thing is here, look, maybe I'm old fashioned, but you know what? I like to show a level of at least a certain amount of respect to especially somebody that's a lot older than me and somebody that I don't know. There's a few, you know, like somebody that's giving me a platform and somebody that's talking to me with respect. You want to show, you know, people respect, especially
100%.
Yeah. So the way that she was talking to Gail was just so disrespectful. There was one point that was my favorite part where Gail was just like, well, you know, I don't think it's it's a very sweet, like this isn't something a sweet person would do. Like, you know, whatever. She was like obviously trying to push back, you know, and then the girl goes, enough to Gail. I'm like,
she goes, but she goes, the way she does it, she's like, Gail, enough. like as if
you bitch.
It's like as if like your parent is scolding you. Like I feel like that would be something like maybe my parents would have done when I was a child. Like, Daniel, that's enough. Like you need to stop.
That's what I'm saying. It's like that is so disrespectful to a grown woman, like let alone any sort of grown person. But like somebody that's like well above, like much older than you are. But like to talk like that to anybody, like you deserve a fucking slap, dude. Like, are you 100%. Joking?
Like even if like somebody that was my age talked to me like that and was like, Daniel,
it's so rude.
Enough. You know, putting the hand up as well. It's not even just like it's the actions, and it just that again, it emphasized.
That's when the lawyer was like, "Fuck." The lawyer was like, she said something. I don't know what she said, but she was basically like, "Okay, you need to not."
Yeah, she's like turn it. She's stop enough. No, she didn't say enough, but she was like, stop.
Oh my god! And then she just kept saying like, what did she say? She's like, oh yeah, there was like one moment where she was like, oh yeah, so yeah, I accused him. I apologized. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
And I was like, excuse me.
You didn't just, this is the thing though. And I don't even know, again, I don't know if it was her lawyer coaching her or if she actually even feels that way, like fully, that was just, if that in her mind is an accusation, I would hate to see what she thinks actual assault is. Yeah. You know what I mean? If she thinks that was just, I just like kind of casually accused him of stealing my phone, you know? And then also she asked her too, I think this is towards the beginning of the interview. She was like, oh, so were you stopping everybody at the hotel to ask them for their phones? And she's like,
and then she like couldn't talk properly.
I know. And then she's like, you know, I don't get why, you know, me, a 22-year-old girl accusing, you know, and she was going to say black man, but then she said, a boy of stealing my phone. Why this would cause such an uproar? I just don't understand.
She's like, no, I wasn't stopping everybody, but, you know, like you have to understand that like, as a 22-year-old, I'm like, okay, you're not answering the question, bitch.
Exactly.
You didn't, like, and then there was like one part where she just really just could not get the words out. She was like, yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's not fair because like racism.
I know.
And then, my God, it was just so bad.
It was just like cringy on so many levels. And it's
just
like
no self-awareness. Like it's actually just, it's insane to go. Like this is after the fact. This was your chance to be like, listen, like, I'm so sorry. I fucked up. This is my mistake. Like, I mean,
exactly. At least we've seen with all of the other Karens, or actually not all of them, but a few of them.
No. Yeah.
They've owned up to it and been like, sorry. But
this is the worst.
This is the worst because she has this opportunity. She has a platform to basically apologize. And, you know, even still people will be like, okay, well, you've overreacted, but at least she can, you know, own up to it at least. You know what I mean? You know, really apologize sincerely instead of coming across like she could really care less and that everything is just being like, it honestly, the whole interview like made me think of like a little kid that's like a spoiled brat that's not happy, that hasn't got their own way. Like that's the vibe that I got from that whole interview. And I think that's
exactly what she is.
Even the way she looked, she'd be like,
yeah,
you know, she had this like face on her, like this kind of like,
honestly,
it just bothers.
Yeah. This is an example of a girl that's never been told no, that's never been disciplined in her life. Like there's just no way. Like there's no way. Blame the parents.
Exactly. Well, this is it. You know, we are coming across on this girl, right? And we're being, you know, giving her a lot of flack, which I think she rightly deserves. But at the same time, again, we have to look at, well, why is she behaving in that way as well? And a lot of this onus of this kind of terrible responsibility I mean, I guess to some degree should be blamed on the parents. I know sometimes some kids can turn out,
That's
nothing
true.
like how the parents raise them. So it is difficult to say because, there's some great parents
That's
out there
true.
that happen to get like rebellious children. But, I do think a lot of the time, this kind of spoiled brat behavior does stem from just that being spoiled and not being told no and not having like, how could you just not have any sense of reality? Like, how could you be
Seriously.
so...
It's just shocking. Okay, I just can't understand the mentality of like, okay, I lost my phone. And clearly it's not even like she had it in the hotel, like because she left it in an Uber. So obviously she didn't even have it with her in the hotel. And so for her to just assume right away that somebody stole it from the hotel, that's crazy to me. I'm like, okay, people lose their phone all the time. Like,
exactly. It shows you what their mindset is though. Cause normally like, and I don't know about you, but this is my normal reaction. As soon as I lose something, even my phone, the first thing I do again is not turn around and say, you stole my phone to whoever's behind me or whatever, or racial profile, find one black guy in the room and say he stole my phone. I try to retrace my steps. I try there's steps that you would do before. Well, you would never get to that point anyway. And the fact that she the way that she went about it, how rude she was, like,
oh my God, it's so embarrassing.
It's funny because like, well, it's not funny. I was like watching a couple other like Karens that have happened over the year, like, this. And there was another one that actually really bothered me as well.
Which one?
It was the one where, I don't know if you saw, there was a man that was like a 45-year-old black guy that was walking through the park in this like
Central
bird
Park?
area of New York.
Yes. She was another very famous Karen. They call it the Central Park Karen.
Central Park Karen. And again, she at least came forward and apologized. But the fact that like, this is where my issue lies, is like the fact that that's somebody's natural reaction to go to that place. Do you know what I mean? Like to like the Central Park Karen just basically said to this guy, she's like, well, she's like basically taunted him and said, look, leave me alone or I'm going to call the cops and say that you've assaulted me.
Well, what was the situation again? Like he was basically like, can you put your dog on the leash?
Yeah, because she basically she had her dog on an off-leash area, on a leashed area where you're supposed to have your dog on a leash.
Yeah.
Because there's like a special part of the park. I've never been there, but that is for like special migratory birds and stuff. So that's why they have like a leash policy there. And he just said to her like, please put your dog back on a leash.
And then she freaked out.
And then she freaked out and she's like, and then she actually called the police while he was there and said, there's a an African-American male in the park. He's attacking me and assaulting me and my dog. Like, it's crazy.
That's the worst.
And the thing is, and a lot of people commented on this, it's like, well, and she, at least compared to Soho Karen, at least she did apologize. But at the same time, it's like, would she apologize or would she have done any of this if she wouldn't, if this wouldn't have been filmed or had any backlash? And it does make you wonder how much of this goes on that's not filmed.
Exactly.
Which is
like
really...
that woman, oh my God, I totally forgot about that woman. But that woman, like what she did was like... so bad because it's like she knows what saying, like the fact that she called the cops and he was far away from her, he was not doing anything to her, so she called the cops and like all of a sudden as soon as she got on the phone she starts like acting like she was acting as if he was attacking her.
Her voice changed, everything.
And the fact that she said there's an African-American man doing this in a country where we know that there is such a big, difference between how, black people are treated and white people are treated. So the fact that she said that while raising her voice and acting like she was being threatened, that is like, like, I don't know what happened to her, but like, that's like beyond, like, that is not okay.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing is too with her, not that this means anything, but she was like, she worked at an investment firm actually in New York, quite high up there, I believe. But she was let go. Like they caught wind of this and they let go of her. But like, just shocking. And it's like, you're right. Like the whole way, the fundamental thing that shocks me is, she apologized. Great. But she only apologized because she's under fire for it. And the fact that was her first thought and the first place that she went was to call the police and basically threaten this guy that she's going to call the police. That was like no talking, no kind of middle ground, just went straight to that. And it's the same with this girl. Instead of like, like you said earlier, like being like, hey, like I've misplaced my phone. Have you seen it? It looks similar to the one that you have, or like, have you seen it? Instead of that, right away goes to accusing the guy.
It's crazy.
And then and then takes it one step further and assaults him. And then she even said in the interview too, if you remember, she was like talking, and she was like, when Gail was like, well, you did assault this kid, you physically assaulted him. Like, what do you think when you watch that video? And she goes, well, like, the father also grabbed my hair and assaulted me.
I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, he would, because you assaulted him first. Oh my God, seriously, I can't.
Exactly. And the guy said on the one of the guys that was doing this YouTube video that I watched, he was like, well, this girl, like, imagine you're out with your kid and somebody assaults your 14-year-old right in front of you. Of course, you're going to go, any parent would, it's like, it's not even like it's like parental instinct. Animals do this. Everybody, like, what I mean? Like, they would protect their young. So like, of course he's going to like try to pull her off of his son. So like, what was she expect? Like, it's,
the fact that she even brought that up is just so like, you think you are the victim in this scenario. Like, stop. Like,
exactly. It's bad, guys. Like,
oh my God, I mean, it's so bad. I actually cannot.
I get that. Like, again, you can get riled up in situations, maybe say something that you regret or whatever. But like, these actions of these specific Karens, the Central Park and Soho and some of the other ones, it's not a case of like, using the wrong word, maybe saying something a little bit offensive, like being like, I could see that someone gets angry or heated. They sometimes say something like a little bit like, oh, you're a bitch, or you know what I mean? Like, something, and then afterwards they're like, sorry, I overreacted in that situation. But it's like, not even about them overreacting. It's the steps and the whole behavior, everything that they did that takes it to that next level, Like, this is not normal behavior. Like, it's not normal when someone asks you to put your dog on a leash to threaten to call the cops on them to say that they're going to assault you. Like, even if you had a problem, even if you had an issue with someone saying you need to put your dog on a leash, maybe you'll get into a little argument about them. Maybe you say, oh, well, why? Why do I need to put my dog? The first thing is not, I'm going to call the police on you.
Yeah, I know.
Entitled people. That's all I have to say. Entitled people.
Ruining their own reputations.
Exactly. That think their shit don't stink. And you know what? To be honest, these people are so like, this is going to sit with them for the rest of their lives. Everybody knows the Soho Karen, the Central Park Karen, like,
That's
you've done it to yourself. And it's kind of, what's that word? Karma.
Karma. Yeah.
Yeah. So glad that you got caught. And I'm glad that, you are facing backlash, as you should, for this horrible, terrible behavior. And hopefully the more awareness we get around these issues, the less we start to see these stories happen, because like, this is crazy.
I know. It's insane.
I thought 2020 was the year of the Karen. I thought she would be left. She was left in 2020, and 2021 would be a new start.
Oh God. Well, apparently also in 2021 we have a little celebrity rumor going on.
Oh God damn. What be the rumor, Roses? What will be the celebrity rumor?
It'd be about Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. People saying they gonna divorce.
I know. Well, the thing is, it's like,
are we shocked?
Not that surprised. I know. I don't know, but apparently, like, Kanye West, obviously he suffers from bipolar disorder. I guess he's been vocal about it. He spoke about it, and I think there's been lots of like challenges in that relationship. And I also feel like being in the spotlight adds an extra level of pressure to any relationship.
Absolutely. But, there was a big rumor that, I mean, I don't know where this rumor came from.
I don't know either. Like, what is
all the headlines were like, Jeffree Star and Kanye West rumored to be in a relationship. And, well, Jeffree Star, like, made a video being like, guys, it's, like, not true or something like that. But, like, this is how, like, I don't even, who spreads rumors like this?
I don't know. And again, there's like nothing to substantiate this.
I think there was like a photo or there was something that like looked like Jeffree Star like leaving Kanye West's house or something. But again, it was nothing, like it was probably just like, I don't know.
But again, like if there was a photo of Kanye West leaving, Jeffree Star leaving Kanye West's house, well, your first thought is not to think, oh, he's sleeping with Kanye. It might be like, oh, maybe him and Kim are working on some kind of beauty deal, or like, do you know what I mean? Because they're both in the beauty industry. Like, so it's funny. Like, I mean, it's crazy how these things get like spiraled, and like,
Seriously.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's not really any of our business, right? If he wants to sleep with Jeffree Star, like, good on you, like, I don't know.
So are they going to divorce? Is that part real?
I don't know. I mean, I do feel like, not feel bad for celebrities, but I do think like, you never really see any of these celebrity marriages. A lot of them don't seem to last. And I think it's just because of that added pressure of being in the spotlight and having so much scrutiny on your relationship. And I think to some degree, and I've talked about this with you before so many times, but like, those channels on YouTube that are like relationship focused, a lot of those end up, they'll always seem to have that like breakup video. They never seem to last either. Like, I feel like because you're putting so much focus on that relationship,
Well, I mean, I think most relationships end. like, I'm sorry, but like, whether or not you are a celebrity, or, I mean, maybe not most, but like a lot of them end. But yeah, you might be more susceptible to it if you are a celebrity and you're famous, or that or you have like a relationship channel and you work together. Like that obviously adds another layer of like,
pressure.
Exactly. So you're right. But also a lot of relationships do end.
Yeah, but also, Rose, a lot of relationships stay together as well. There's some people that get married and never, you know what I mean? Like, I do agree. Yes, but
we're talking about the older generation. I do think it's getting worse this generation.
True. The younger generation. I mean, I don't know if we mentioned it on this podcast, but like, I know people like our age that, some people are going, maybe not on their second marriage yet, but like have already finished their first one. So,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's a lot. So
yeah, I mean, if you look at like, even just like when you follow like influencers and, just people online, the amount of relationships, and these are people that don't necessarily like, post relationship content, but you just know that they're in a relationship, and the majority of them break up, like great majority. Like, it's actually a shock when like when a couple like stays together for like a long term. Because like That's a lot of them break up, even couples where you're like, oh my God, they're definitely in it for the long run. Like, I've seen YouTube channels, like I follow a lot of YouTube channels, and the great majority of them, unfortunately, break up.
Yeah.
Not to rain on your parade here. I'm just saying that it is common.
That's true. You know what? You make a good point, Rose. Like, I wonder why that is. Like, why does it seem? And I bet you you're right. I bet you if you took stats, like, I don't know off the top of my head, obviously, but like, I bet you if you took stats of our generation now, I bet you're right. The length of relationships is shortening. Why do you think that is, Rose?
Well, I mean, God, we don't have enough time to discuss why that is, but I think it's because there's back in the day, we talked about this a little bit, I think, before, when we used to talk about like the modern love, modern romance, that book. But I think essentially it's like, before, life was a lot more simple, right? You have like certain expectations. You have to get married. And of course, another reason is because divorce was also very frowned upon. And so that's,
True.
In some ways it's good that, people have the freedom now, and like they shouldn't be ashamed or, be shamed for divorcing and things like that.
Of course,
So that's one thing. So that level of shame has gotten a lot less. So that's one big reason. I think another reason is that women are a lot more independent. We can work for ourselves. We can make our own money. So we don't have to rely on a man to, help us. So that's another good thing. But there's also other things like, we kind of see the world now. We're very open to what's out there. So we think like if we're in a relationship, we are less happy with like, living a more simple life and just like being married and, we just can't be content the same way that maybe our parents used to be, or our grandparents.
That's true. And I did mention, and actually this is a really good point that I remember from that book actually, where they were saying about how the older generation, it wasn't as much of a love marriage per se. It was more kind of like a marriage of not necessarily convenience, but the way that you would get satisfaction is how well the two of you like kind of were able to fulfill your roles within that relationship, So how well as a woman, for example, you were able to raise children, keep the home, that would be like the pinnacle of your happiness. And for the man, how successful he was at bringing money and everything else. And it wasn't so much a focus of like and of course some people did fall in love, that, you know what I mean? But it wasn't as big of a focus. Whereas now it's like, we put that focus on love matches, on that, like that one person that's like fulfilling your life. And, so there's a lot more pressure in that regard. And so that's another reason why, potentially that, marriage and also relationship rates are on the decline.
Oh, goddamn. Well, I don't know the statistics. Maybe I'm completely wrong and I'm just basing it off of what I see. But maybe we'll discuss this in the next podcast.
What do you guys think? Should we discuss this in the next podcast?
Well,
I don't
we
know.
didn't finish discussing the modern love. Remember
That's
we were like
true.
doing a series on that?
That's true. We kind of we didn't give up on it. We still have like so much stuff to talk about in that book.
Oh my God. I need to re-listen to that book again.
I know. I do too. It's such a good book.
Was it called Modern Love or Modern Romance?
Oh God, we went back and forth on this, Rose. Why? I forgot.
Okay,
I honestly forgot.
what's your vote? What do you think it is? I think it's Modern Romance.
I think it's Modern Romance as well, actually, now that I think of it.
Oh, yes, it is. We're right. Modern Romance by Aziz Ansari, guys. Listen to it. Mm-hmm. There it is. Oh, anyway.
Goddamn. But yeah.
Anyway, guys, it's been over an hour.
It's been a slice. It's been a little.
It's been a slice. You know. Oh my God. Daniel, you know what we haven't done in a while?
We also haven't done the SaVeg Slice for a while, guys.
We just abandoned all our things.
Well, no,
There's just so much to talk about.
Exactly. And like, you know, we're like learning and growing with this podcast as well and, you know, trying different things. So, you know, we could always bring back another episode of the SaVeg Slice whenever we feel like it. You know what I mean? It's not an easy episode to do, but a fun one for sure.
Yeah.
So potentially sometime in 2021, guys, we'll do another
advice column.
Yeah. Because it is.
If you guys want us to answer your questions, not questions, what is it? Like give you
life
advice on
a
certain situation, then you can send us a little email or a DM on Instagram. Our email is thesavagepodcast@gmail.com. So send it to us. And if we get enough entries, then we'll do a SaVeg Slice episode.
Well, that's a good call. Yeah, let's do it that way. So if we do get enough entries, then we will... We'll do this. I think we were on SaVeg Slice episode 4 or something. So
right. And guys, we can't promise that it's going to be timely. So if it's a timely situation, then we might not be able to help you.
That's true. That's very true.
Yes. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening once again. And don't forget, guys, our Patreon is now only starting at $3 only a month. Okay. So there's a $3 tier, $5. And if you love us that much, $10 is also available. So go check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/thesavagepodcast and join our little family.
Exactly. And also, guys, if you're not already, so if you're listening to us on Spotify or any of your podcasting platforms, don't forget to hit that follow or subscribe. And the same if you're enjoying our beautiful faces on YouTube, hit that subscribe and that like button. And you can always check us out on Instagram at the SaVeg Podcast as well. Thanks, guys. Bye.